Alright, this is 6A in the review, and as we've been doing for all these, let's try to factor the bottom. Factor anything that you think can be factored. It's going to be x minus 4 times x minus 3. So does anything match, yes or no? Yes. And we cancel out the x minus 4's. Keep in mind that when something cancels out, it actually becomes a 1. So this function can be rewritten as 1 over x minus 3. So as you're going down the checklist of wholes and asymptotes, a hole will occur from any expression that canceled. So there will be a hole. At. The x comes from the x-coordinate that would have made 0 in the expression that canceled out. That's a lot to think about. The x-coordinate comes from positive 4 because 4 would have created 0 in the expression that canceled. Comma. The y-coordinate of the whole comes from the remaining expression, 1 over x minus 3. We plug 4 into that to find the y-coordinate. 1 over 4 minus 3 is 1. So there is a hole in the graph at 4, 1. Let's pretend that I asked you to graph this. So you'd go over to 4, 1 and put a hole in the graph. In the remaining portion of this function that didn't cancel out, is there still a value that you could plug into the bottom that would create an issue? 3, right? 3 would make you divide by 0, and that would be bad. So at x equals 3, we're going to have a vertical asymptote. So if I'm building this graph, I would go over to x equals 3 and put a dotted line. The function is not allowed to live there. It's going to be a wall that the function approaches and never crosses. In the remaining portion of this graph, let's pretend we're back on the front of this sheet, and I asked you, where would this 1 over x shift? Right, up, down, left? Right 3. And that's it, right? It wouldn't go up or down. So the horizontal asymptote is going to be the x-axis. So how would we draw this? Well, you'd go over 1, up 1, and put a dot. But wait a minute, what's there? The hole in the graph, and you'd make the function get closer and closer. From the crossroads of the two asymptotes, you would go left 1, down 1, and put a dot, and make it get closer and closer. So that's what the function would look like. It has a vertical asymptote at x equals 3, a hole in the graph at 4, 1, and a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0 for 2 reasons. There was no up or down shift, so it stays at 0, and the remaining function is top heavy or bottom heavy? Bottom heavy. And when it's bottom heavy, it's always y equals 0. So that concludes 6A. It had a little bit of everything sprinkled into it.